Hey everyone, welcome to the 6 p.m. set on day 2 of Locals Winterfest. We'll be talking with MC Nads. She is a radio host from a local radio station, Vibe 105, based out of Toronto. So click the IG link to see how that went. And thank you everyone for coming. Really appreciate it. Oh, and look at that. She's already in the room. Let's go. That's what I'm talking about, man. Punctuality. I love it. I love it. I love it. Go ahead and send her this request and... Hello.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you see
awesome.
me?
Awesome. Yeah, I can see you. You're good. Lighting. She knows how to lighting. She knows.
We're trying here.
We're trying. How's it going? It's going good. It's my last set of this amazing weekend.
You did good. We need to give you a round of applause.
I'm so happy, man. Thank you so much. This is my
very proud of you.
It's my first time doing something like this and stuff, so I was really nervous about hopping into it. I'm not gonna lie, the first set yesterday, I was because these are noise canceling headphones, so when I hopped on, I could hear my heart beating. I was like, oh my god, O'Neill, you're so nervous and stuff. But as I got into it and did more, it was this is nice. I'm I'm doing.
You did a good job. I'm very proud of you. I saw I was able to tune into some, not all. And I'll watch back some of the IGTVs, but you did very good. So round of applause.
Thank you so much. But let's take it off of me and we're going to focus on you. We have MC Nads, aka Muck Nads, aka Nadia, local radio host from Vibe 105. So you can talk to us a little about broadcasting, how she got into it. And take it away. Let everyone know who you are and what you do.
Hello, welcome to the Locals Festival, their winter one. So thank you everybody for supporting and being here and donating to the Mississauga Food Bank, which was near and dear to my heart. And I'm sure you heard that in another interview yesterday with Shalita.
Yes.
And big up Erika for all the organization and yourself. So my name is Nadia Chandra is the government name. My radio broadcasting name is MC Nads. I am a radio personality and host on Vibe 105.5 FM in Toronto. Have a radio show on there every Tuesday from 2 to 5 p.m. I'm also a digital host online for a Soca platform where we do a series called The Zone. We're in the middle of season 2. Next week, Saturday is the ending. And I just interview local Soca artists, artists around the Caribbean, and anybody in management and soca, just anything, DJs, all of it. And then I also MC weddings and host events and do all kinds of stuff on the side. And
woman does it all. She does it all.
And I have a job. And I also have a job.
And a job.
Because that's what we do. We hustle.
Yeah, you gotta get that 9 to 5 money,
Try
all right. By the way, everyone that's joining in, we are raising funds for the Mississauga Food Bank, as Nadia said earlier. Please donate if you can. You can find the link on our bio, Locals Festival Instagram page. You'll be sent to the Mississauga Food Bank's website. From there, you can donate. Any and all donations are appreciated, so please donate if you can. With every donation, every dollar is equal to 2 meals, so you'll be helping out the community with 2 meals every dollar. As well, every dollar is an entry into the giveaway we're doing through Locals Festival. Get hyped for the giveaway. More information on the giveaway can be found on the giveaway post on the on our Instagram page. If for whatever reason you cannot donate, I understand times are tough, it's COVID. Feel free to interact with the giveaway post. Every like, every share, every share, every tag. Sorry, oh my god, I did so much today. I'm still blanking. Every like, every share, and every tag is an entry into the giveaway post. So feel free to interact with the giveaway post. And as well, if you have any questions for me or Nadia, please say so in the comment section down below.
I got to big up all my people that are locking on. Tricky Promo.
Yeah. Do it up.
Sade from Brampton. She does Brampton's very own. I was a host for that in Brampton, so big her up as well. Yeah, big up all the family. Yay!
Shout out all our peoples. So let's get into the interview a little bit. So you do broadcasting, obviously, like you mentioned before. That's one of your many hustles.
Yes.
How did you get into broadcasting?
Well, I went to school for it. When I left high school, it was, I didn't really have much guidance in high school. It was mid-90s and nobody really knew what I wanted to do. I don't think I really knew, but I knew what I was doing. Went to York U, got in for business, did not like it, even though I know business is important, but I didn't like it. And I changed over to health. And then while I was at York U, I ended up at a Seneca College is on campus, so I ended up at a school fair they were doing for their school on campus, and then I saw they had radio broadcasting, and I was like, yo, I could do this. So I joined it, and I ended up doing a joint program at York-U with Seneca College, doing radio broadcasting, doing health. Nobody told me that while I was doing that, I could have eased my course load at York-U, but no, Nadia did 100% at York, 100% at Seneca, and
that work ethic coming through clearly.
Oh man, I don't know. I was like, must have been smoking something good because I stressed myself out, and I did end up graduating with 4.0 GPA, valedictorian on the Seneca College side, so that was cool. And then I didn't do anything for like 10 years with it. I kind of with all people, I lost my way. Family happened, obligation happened with family. With myself, OSAP was knocking. OSAP's like, yo, you gotta pay me.
I need that money.
That interest is kicking in. So,
oh man, the interest.
Oh yeah. So, life happened, and then 10 years went by and I didn't touch anything that I loved. And I think it's one of those things where you weren't ready to receive your blessing, I think that's what it was. And then an opportunity came now it's been a while, but I think about 12 years after, opportunity showed up on Facebook with a DJ who was looking for somebody to do his social media that was working at Vibe 105, because Vibe was CHRY before. And I was like, oh, I can do this. I follow this guy. I've been to the club. I've seen him play, but he doesn't know who I am. So I sent an email response and I was like, look, I've done A, B, and C. I literally wrote my resume in a message and I was like, trust me, I'm dedicated. And he was like, well, you're the only serious applicant I have. And he gave me a chance. And I ended up doing social media on his show for about 3 years. But while I was there, I was able to really engross myself in the Vibe 105 atmosphere of the volunteers, of the DJs that were there, and make those connections. And really, that's where I propelled into my radio career and my MCing career. And it just went like this. Hustle. It was a lot of hustle.
Yeah, honestly, your work ethic's coming in from what you did throughout school with university and college up until now. It's work hustle. It's all just pushing. And look at the results that come on. Now you're on the one of the most popular radio stations in the city. I don't care. I'm not going to name any other radio stations, but I know Vibe is up there 100%. I don't care what anyone else says. Vibe is up there. In certain communities, maybe more than others, but Vibe is up there 100%.
And that's what it is too. Vibe is very diverse. Obviously, we've become a culture where we're very much aware of the words we're using. So we no longer identify as an urban station. We're very much a Toronto's diverse music mix. And we play everything, hip hop, R&B, soca, reggae, calypso. You might even find a little chutney in there depending on what DJ is playing. But that's what our city needs, I think. And I feel honored to be a woman who's of the BIPOC community. People don't know, that's Black, Indigenous, and person of color. And there's not a lot of me. I don't see a lot of me in media. And so it's hard to see. But I know that's something we'll talk about. So I'll let you ask another question.
Yeah, that was actually perfect transition to my next question. Like you just mentioned, you were a person of color, BIPOC. What are some things you notice with representation in media? Prejudice, racism, any hurdles you had to overcome in the past? It
can be hard. It can be, and I'm going to speak real talk for my own experience. When I was getting into this game of radio, that side was comforting for me to see and be in an atmosphere where there were so many colored people. And it was fantastic. So many Caribbean people at Vibe. The only thing is, there's not many Indo-Caribbean people. There's not many Indo-Caribbean women. And that's a big difference, because I can identify with a West Indian culture, even though my country is in South America. My parents are from Guyana. So people would tell you, we're not really Caribbean, we're South American. And so I know for me, I've always struggled with that, because it's like, damn, I don't see any Indo-Caribbean women. We've got the Indo-Caribbean men, but where are the Indo-Caribbean women? I'm like, well, I want to be one of those people. And that for me was hard to digest, because I couldn't see anybody. The only person I've ever can really identify in media, her name is Natasha Ramsahai. She's so cool.
Yes, she's a meteorologist in Toronto.
Right? A meteorologist on CBC. And she's somebody that looks like me. I can identify with her, and there's not a lot of that. And so that was one struggle. Then there's the struggle of, okay, I wanted to be an MC, not only in a club, but in a wedding, at local festivals and events. And then there's and I hate bringing the gender up, but it's the male ego. Dealing with the male ego in the Toronto industry, entertainment, it's hard. Because, and I love the guys that I work with, and there's some people I don't jive with, or you don't follow, and that's the reality of it. But they have their cliques, right? Like boys will be boys. You know, I love you guys. I love my fellas, but y'all got your cliques. And so that was also hard to penetrate through. There's a handful of guys that have given me opportunities. DJ Tricky's one of them. Riyadh DJ Audio, who's on here, is another. Ryan Alley Entertainment. There's a bunch of them I know solidly that have been supporting the movement and been supporting a lot of us. And, you know, there's one girl named Tati Toronto Club Scene, who's the one that pushed me into this and said to me, Nads, you can do this, and help me build my confidence. And it's still a struggle some days because I don't see anybody that looks like me. And I hope that I can inspire any Indo-Caribbean female that wants to get into radio, TV, whatever it is. I just had a girl reach out to me from Humber College just before this festival was going to take place, and she's mixed with Guyanese and Jamaicans, so she's half Indo-Caribbean, and she's like, now I have somebody I can turn to, and I'm supposed to do an interview with her tomorrow. So it's been a struggle, but I also have to remember not to let that struggle get to me. Because it will eat you, right? It'll eat your hustle.
100%.
You know what I mean?
You gotta treat yourself like a pioneer in a sense. You know, there might not be a lot of representation, but you could be that first step. And then, like you said, people seeing you in this industry, be like, wow, other people from Trinidad or Guyana seeing you, and they're like, wow, there's someone that looks like me that's doing this. Now I feel more confident getting into broadcasting or whatever the line of work may be.
Exactly. You know? And that's what I want. That's the biggest thing for me of my brand. I think and I've always said this to everybody who knows me and who follows me, and I say it on my own social media. Gotta big up Mr. Presto. He's from Vibe 105 as well. You know, that's what I've said on my social media. That's what's going to make the difference between me having 3,700 people following me and 10K. I'd rather continue building my followers organically, because that's just the way I've built my character. That's just who I am. That's how I was raised. And I'm not dissing nobody who does what they do and, you know, can get the followers and do that. But I really just want to show other young women that there are other ways to do this without overly sexualizing yourself and overly like trying to compensate and just because, you know, we're Indo-Caribbean, you do have to fight a little harder. But I think there's different ways to fight. And that's just what I've been doing. That's what you know, it's been a learning experience. I've had very great days. I've had super bad days. I've had people that it's been interesting interacting with them. I've dealt with male ego that they feel like they're being threatened. And I'm like, you know, dude, I'm not a DJ. I'm not here to steal nobody's business. I'm over here doing what I love. And I think for people, when they saw me, I get a lot of people saying, you just came out of nowhere. Well, I came out of nowhere, but I hustled for it. I didn't have a lot of people that helped me. And so for the people who have, like, I'm super grateful to them and super loyal. So it's been a struggle, but without it, I wouldn't be where I'm at.
Well, congratulations to how far you've come already. You know, it's something to definitely be proud of. To go off of kind of struggling to overcome certain racial barriers and stuff in certain industries. I don't know if you have this is a personal question. This is like kind of off the dome right now for me. In my past professional work, I worked at a law firm in the past. I'm not going to name any names. Nothing wrong with the law firm, obviously, but I just want to keep it, you know, on the down low. Yeah. And when going in there, I noticed that not only was I one of the only men working in my area because it was majority women, but I was the only colored person. It was probably, I'd say, in the 90% area of majority people working there. Yeah. So I felt good that I was able to break that barrier and make it. But at the same time, part of me felt like, is this just a diversity hire? Are they trying to just hit a quota? I don't know if you feel that sometimes too. I don't know if anyone else feels that, but that's something I felt in the past when getting into certain positions where I'm, you know, kind of like the one guy sticking out type thing. Yeah, sometimes I know, like when I MC weddings, like I remember the first time I showed up to a non-West Indian wedding. So I come in here and people are like, who is this girl? It was I've done completely South African. I've done completely white, you know, English Canadian background. I've even done a Filipino wedding. And so you show up and they're like, who are you?
And they're like, what do you know? Like, how do you know?
Oh, man.
And, it's just like, yes, even with work, even my regular full-time job, I've walked into meetings where executives are all white upper management. And I'm not dissing anybody's culture, but for people who are of the BIPOC community, we're of a diverse community, it is hard for us to walk in those kind of environments, because when you do, you already know you've got to fight. But you have to go in there with a positive attitude to go, I got this. Because they already, some, not all, this is just me talking, some people already got you pegged. They see you, they look at you, and they got you pegged. It's like that first episode, pilot episode of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Uncle Phil thought he had Will Smith pegged. Then he saw Will playing on the piano, playing, something from an opera. Like it was, I don't know if it was Beethoven or somebody, but it was that, and he saw him playing it.
Song, yeah.
And then Uncle Phil was just standing there going, in his head, it was that, oh shit moment, I shouldn't have pegged him. So, I still experience that to this day. And I just have to take everything with a grain of salt to go, I know who I am. If you are certain with who you are, then nobody can make you feel any way, any type of way. But you have to be confident with who you are. And if you cannot get comfortable in your own skin, you're going to have to learn real quick. Otherwise, the only person that's going to stop you is not all those other people. It's going to be yourself.
I agree 100%. Oh, right? Man, such amazing work. Like, I feel like I'm going to start crying soon. Let's just keep
Oh, we got to big up DJ Styles UK. He is from London. Big support to him. He always sends me music.
International. We made it.
International lock on.
We made it. All right, let's keep it moving. If anyone has any questions, by the way, feel free to say it down in the comments below. We'll try to get to them in the hour mark before Instagram cuts us off, because they don't give us any warning. And I'm not going to talk about Instagram Live right now.
I know.
So back to broadcasting and radio work. What are some things you really enjoy about radio?
Oh man, with radio, I love the ability to connect with people. I love the ability to know that I could go off on a tangent on my show. I could play music and I'm connecting with you as a listener in your car, in your house, in your ear box while you're on the TTC, on a go bus. Like, I love human connection, but to know that I can do that without you actually seeing me, and you could hear me say a story and be like, yo, Nads, I didn't think of that. Or you can hear me play a song and go, yo, this is a big tune. And I get like people sending me videos and they're like, I'm listening to you. Like, that shit I get such a high off of, because then I know I've done my best to make somebody's day by playing their favorite track, or playing an artist they never knew, or talking about a story they heard on the news. But you know me, I'm animated. You can see that. So I'll talk about a story and just be like, like Drake's got candles out. Everybody wants to smell like Drake. Drake's got his own scent coming out. Like, you know what I mean? Like, just to be able to make that connection is awesome. And then when I MC at either a festival or especially weddings, it is so cool to connect with an audience live. Now I know what an artist feels like when they perform. There's just this different energy, and not everybody will like you. Some people gonna hate you. That's just what it is. There's lots of people who don't like me. I get, I see feedback sometimes, and that's cool, man. That is what it is. But, I love what I do. And the one thing people know about me that have been on this journey with me as MC Nads, or have been my friends and family that have seen me transition to this, I am 100% genuine. Like, this is not a joke. This is just who I am.
I like that. Thank you for answering that question. I really appreciate it. When you said earlier that, some people just aren't going to like you, there's nothing you can do about that. I don't know if you know a lot about the show Disney's Recess. I had this episode in my mind where there's this one kid, I forget his name, but he didn't like the main character, TJ. And TJ tried the whole episode trying to make him like him. And then at the end of it, he's like, why don't you like me? And the guy's like, just don't like you, man.
Yeah, that's just what it is.
Just don't like you.
Too. It's just vibes, right? Some people just don't catch your vibes. There's some really good questions in here.
Yeah, I was going to say, Snatched by Lecce, he asked, how do I promote my business on the radio?
Oh, well, you got to do an ad. But if you come to me, we got different options. Radio there's different ad options on Vibe, on every station for that matter. You just got to get in contact with us. If anybody is looking for advertisement, specifically on Vibe 105, then definitely hit me up, because, of course, I hustle on the side, so I sell ad space. So I'm there for it too. So I can hook anybody up who wants to do that. Somebody asked a really good question. Can we go down to it? It was Sir Chris the 7th.
Yes, Sir Chris the 7th.
Right? Have you ever thought of being a voice actor for TV shows as well? I have. I don't know if I'd be any good at it, but again, that's my own block. I've got to get that out of my mind. I would love to. I would really love to.
I'm sure you'd kill it, honestly.
I don't know. We'll see, right? And then there was another question. EJ Roland, I'm totally hijacking your interview.
No, it's okay.
Do you think radio is slowly becoming obsolete? Yes, there is that concern. But I think because now everything is, the pandemic has been a curse and a blessing. So we at Vibe 105 are pivoting. So very much so we're moving to an online platform. And more of that is coming. So I think radio, has always struggled. Numbers, anybody who sees numbers, who deals with CRTC, you can see numbers fluctuate. Morning time is always crazy. We get lots of listeners, 300,000 over. People don't see it, but the numbers are there. But definitely radio might be struggling, but I think there's opportunity to build and move to an online platform. And you just keep moving from there. Without Vibe, I don't know where I would be. So I'm very grateful to them.
Shout out Vibe 105.5, man. I know you guys don't listen to radio as much nowadays. Everyone has Spotify, Apple Music.
But they have an app. You can listen on
There's an
the
app. It's on your phone. Like, you can
called
take a break from Drake.
It's called the Vibe 105 TO app. Yeah, you can take a break from Drake.
Take a break from Drake. Take a break from the weekend. The music's not going anywhere. I know Drake's album's coming out, next year, January, February. Till then, listen to Vibe for a bit. Listen to Nadia's sets. She's got. I've listened to a few sets since started talking to you and stuff. I don't think I've used Spotify since. I've just been solely just going on to Vibe, just being like, oh man,
big up yourself.
Be able to catch Nadia.
And we also have to. I have to big up my friend Tina for connecting you and I, because she had connected us.
Oh my gosh,
yeah,
yes.
I love Tina. Tina Patel, big up yourself. I love my friend Tina.
Shout out Tina one time.
She had connected us way before any of this, and I didn't have any work for you because I'm like, shit, I ain't got no gigs. The pandemic hit, things are a hot mess. And then this came up, so this was cool. You see how things happen?
Exactly.
I hijacked your interview. Oh my God. Ask your other question.
No. This is a casual thing, honestly. We're just going casual. I don't want people thinking like this is some high budget Dr. Phil, Oprah talk show. This is a conversation. We're going back and forth. It's chill, Jess, one of our admin people, has a question here. What's the most memorable thing that's ever happened to you on the air?
Man.
Do you want to talk about it? It sounds it's controversial.
No. There was one thing that was memorable, but it was bad and it was a mistake I made. It was a word I used when I first started. And then there's been a couple others where, like when I first got on air and I heard myself and somebody sent me a video and I was like, oh, that's me. That's like a clip. That's something I did. The most memorable for me on air would have been my very first big interview. One of my very first big interviews was with DJ Puffy. He's he's a major DJ out of Barbados. He's, if anybody's ever heard of the Red Bull Three-Style Championship, it's a big DJ championship that goes down contests, and he won. And he's really a good, I want to call him family of Vibe. I got to big up Dr. J. The Soca Prince, he's like a big DJ in the soca industry in Toronto, and him and DJ Puffy are friends. And I was able to interview Puffy twice, I think. Yeah. And that was like the biggest highlight for me because I was so nervous and he was so cool about it. And it just became a genuine conversation. And I was like, ooh, this is cool. And I got video and, I was just like, and then the second time I got to interview him was pretty dope. It was at a festival called Barbados on the Water that goes on in Toronto at the Harbourfront. And it the weekend, it exposes all of Barbados culture. And I got to interview him again. And he just did this dope live set and it was so cool. So that's my most memorable good. I have a bad one, but I don't know if
Hey, it's up to you. I don't want you to lose your job, obviously, but
no, I wouldn't. When I first started radio and I was working on my fellow DJ friend's show, there was a bunch of us bantering with him. So there was 4 of us on air. And this is where I learned the sensitivity of words. So like the N word in Caribbean culture, there's a word called kuli. And a lot of us don't use this word anymore because we've cultured ourselves to understand that word has heavy meaning. It talks about indentured slavery, and it really is about, the Indian people coming over, getting shipped to the West and going wherever and being indentured slave. And obviously I'm just abbreviating, but the word's very heavy. And so I used that on air one day, my very first time on air. And I didn't understand the repercussions of when I said it. Cause like the N word, you use it with your friends, you're talking, and it slipped out on air. And the next week, within that week of the show, a caller called in to complain and say how hurtful the word was. And I got sat down and told that I can't go on air. It was like a repercussion for the week because the word was so heavy. And I had to sit down and I had a conversation with like my sister and my brother-in-law about it. And I realized where I was wrong. So there's always good, but there's always bad. And I've been very, very conscious of my words and what I say, especially when I post things on social media, just being very aware and doing my research before anything comes out under my name. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you never know who's gonna see it and who you might offend. So it's definitely good to be a little more
conscious and aware.
Conscious is the word I'm looking for.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna do a quick plug if you don't mind. So thank you everyone that's in here right now. We are raising funds for the Mississauga Food Bank, so if you could donate, that'd be good. Head to the Locals Festival Instagram page for the link to the Mississauga Food Bank's website. From there, you will be able to donate. Any and all donations are very, very, very much appreciated. And every dollar donated is one entry into the giveaway we're doing. Learn more about the giveaway, hit the Locals Festival Instagram page again. See the giveaway post there. If you can't donate to enter the giveaway, that's all good. You're still able to enter for free. I know, free. Now you're listening, free. So every like, every tag, and every share of the giveaway post on our main Instagram page is an entry into the giveaway. So, feel free to hop into the giveaway and donate
to the Mississauga Food Bank.
Donate though, yes, 100% donate.
That shit is important. All these people in the chat right now that I know, Axel, Sabrina, DJ Tricky, all you guys, donate to the Mississauga Food Bank. Half y'all live in the West End, so y'all could donate.
Exactly, it's right there. So we had a comment earlier from Tricky saying that you should start DJing in the future.
Yeah, I've been told that. I thought about that. It could be another part of my hustle. Something I gotta learn. I need somebody to teach me for free because funds are low.
Yeah, everyone's struggling right now. We got a question from DJ NRTO. What's your advice for the up-and-coming group of entertainers in the Toronto scene?
Oh, DJ NR, I hate you for asking that. Really, my advice is keep hustling. But I think we, as a Caribbean community, got to stop being crabs in a bucket and got to start learning to work with each other. There's a lot of backbiting. There's a lot of there's even internal racism. And even when this shit with the Black Lives Matter was going down, there's some DJs I had to stop talking to because they're just talking some smack. And I'm like, no, I can't align who I am with you because it's just crazy. If y'all can't work together, then everybody's going to be on an island trying to work against each other. And I don't see how that's going to work, man.
This makes things worse.
Yeah, and for the older heads that are in the community, in the industry, I love that the older heads are doing their hustle, but they also know that it's time for them to pivot and change. And I think you need to reach out to the younger ones, and I also think the younger ones need to reach out to the older ones and kind of just start working together and building. There needs to be more building, because I think the older ones, I love them, but I think some of them are having identity crisis, especially when this pandemic hit. I'm gonna talk some real shit right now. And I think some of them are like, oh my God, what do I do with myself? But this is it. This is what life is. You have to plan for the inevitable. And if you didn't set yourself up to say, yo, if I can't DJ no more and I'm turning 40, what am I going to do? Well, then help a young kid, help somebody build, man. Do something good with what you learned all these 25 years, right? So that's my advice, man. Work together.
Oh, thank you. To kind of go off on that, as the next question from Logan. Hey, MC Nads, quick question. As a young DJ, what advice could you give me to help me work my way towards DJing on the radio?
Practice. First off, practice. Practice is key. You're not going to become a good DJ if you don't practice. Secondly, once you start practicing, start putting together little demos, little mixes. Try a 5-minute, a 10-minute mix. I love our friends. Our friends are always going to support us, but you need honest criticism. And so maybe if you start sending those mixes to some of the DJs that you follow, hoping that they'll be good guys and girls. And I would say send it to male and female, because there's a lot of wicked she-jays out there in Toronto too. And I think you need to send it out and let people hear so you can get some serious feedback, because our friends will always boast us. And I love my friends for that. But I also need the friends that are going to be real. And sometimes you have to reach out. I said this on another conference during the week. You have to reach out to probably 10 people before you get one person that's actually going to respond to you. So it's dedication, it's hustle, it's grind, and it's really being professional and reach out to people. Let them hear what you're doing. Let people know what you're doing, because if you don't, I don't know where your DJ's career is going to go, right? And you have to remember, don't pigeon yourself. once you start learning that, start thinking about how you're going to keep elevating your craft and what else you're going to put your legs into. You got to spread. Got to spread.
Diversify, especially nowadays with everything going on. Like, you don't want to double down on one thing and then let's say something changes and you can't do that one thing anymore.
Right.
There have been some recent news. I'm not going to name names. There's a certain establishment in the West End. I'm not going to name any names that's been going against some government things. But yeah, you got to learn to pivot. You know, everyone has an opinion on what's happening with the government and the pandemic. But end of the day, if you can't get the work, you need the work. You got to try to transition somewhere else. You got to try to, you know, make moves while you can, you know.
Yeah,
it's really tough out there for a lot of people, but it's how it is right now. You got to do what you got to do.
Yeah.
I'm going to move forward with another one of my questions. Sorry, my computer's freaking out right now.
No, that's okay. We've been chatting. We went totally off the script.
Yeah. We're back, though. We're trying to get back on it right now. So, speaking of that, and kind of you know, growing your platform, what are the benefits of integrating social media into your job?
Oh my God, it's amazing because you could reach out to a whole different slew of people. I mean, I have this conversation with my friends who have businesses on social media. It's content. You have to create content, right? And if you create this content, you'll be able to connect with people in different ways. I've met so many people through Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. I'm not on TikTok. I'm sorry. I'm still a little sketch on, you know, some people having all my access, even though Google has everything. You know, but I really think like there's so much benefit in making such connections with people and being able to connect with different businesses and different types of people and just connecting with people, not just in the GTA. I've connected with people in London. I've connected with artists in the Caribbean. Yesterday, my interview was with somebody who, yes, they're stationed in Miami, but he's a local Antiguan born Trinidad artist. Like, it is crazy what social media can do when used right. Now, I know social media can be crazy and people just be posting up some shit sometimes and it just be nuts. But I think when used right, like, you can really just connect with people. It's so amazing. I can send a voice note to my guys in the UK, DJ Styles UK. I can send him a voice note. He sends me music. You know, I hooked up with another producer. His name is I Am Smash, and he had this big artist named Krishane. They just made me a dub for a song that they just put out, and they're in the UK. And it's just like, I'm doing interviews with people all over the world, St. Lucia, like, it's nuts. And
it's mind-blowing.
Right? And it's so cool the way social media has evolved. It's amazing. And I just think there's so much good things you can do. You've got to produce content and be willing to make connections with people. Follow other people that are in the same industry as you, maybe a different industry. Find out what your friends are looking at. Like, just connect. It's cool. Did I answer that question? It's cool.
Yeah, it's cool is a good boiled down version of it. It's cool. No, I do agree with everything you're saying though. Integrating it is definitely, you know, especially nowadays, so many more people are on social media. Not that I'm saying like, oh, you have nothing to do inside, you're on social media, but like so many more people are you know, trying to grow their businesses, you know, try to work together, try to get ideas, you know, help people out in your community. That's what Locals Fest is all about. You know what I mean? So
exactly.
You know.
And look at how we organically connected on something totally different. And then this came up, and then look at the connection. I've assisted randomly with Mississauga Food Bank when you guys interviewed Shalita yesterday. And I just know Shalita because I emceed her engagement. I knew nothing about what she did.
Crazy connections. It's crazy.
Right? And so when I saw her, like, year later, just doing this stuff for Mississauga Food Bank, I'm like, yo, I just want to help you. And then we raised like $1,500.
She talked about that. She was like, oh my God, it's crazy how this one share just blew up her fundraiser so much.
Yeah, it blew it up. And I knew it was and that's what I mean about like what I do. Like, I was able to make a genuine connection with this young couple who was, you know, starting their life and getting married. And I had no clue what they did. I knew they were working. And then when I saw it on my social media, because I tell every couple, once you're done with me, you're not done with me. I'm friends with you for life. So when I saw what she was like, my God, and this is an example of what social media can do. It just blew up, and it was so amazing. Like, I want to do that again. So I'm hoping we do that with Locals Fest. I hope all the people in the chat just donate to the Mississauga Food Bank. Please, I know you want to win shit, but donate, because especially during the pandemic, it's been so hard, right?
Exactly. And Locals Fest admin says it best. Crazy brazy. Let's keep it moving. it. That's what I'm talking. This is why I like this interview so much, because it's just so organic and just feels so natural, just going back and forth like this. You know what I mean?
And I talk too much. This is it.
We both talk a lot, honestly. So I'm really trying to squeeze in my questions and everyone else's questions within the hour before Instagram kicks us off. By the way, if you guys have questions, feel free to say in the comments. Once again, we're happy to answer them. I'm gonna. You
didn't see? I totally spilled water on myself while I was.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, 100%.
You shouldn't even mention it. Now I'm looking at you different. So my next question for you would be, how have things changed in broadcasting world since you got started up until now? Like with like socially dealing with higher ups and stuff like that.
It's weird because when you're coming in kind of like green with people who have had 20, 25 years and growing in this industry, they don't take you seriously, right? So they don't know who you are, they don't trust who you are, and you have to build that with them. So that was very interesting for me because as much as I know the industry, I know the DJs, I know some of them well, I knew none of them well, but because I went to the clubs and I followed and I partied with friends and, I knew of the industry, but then when you kind of get in, it's like, okay, now how do I build for these guys to take me seriously? And the only way for that to happen for me was to build my work ethic. So when I started, it was a little sketch, right? People were like, well, is she serious? Is she going to be another person that just comes in and kind of dicks off and they're gone? And so, at first, I don't think a lot of people took me seriously because they're like, well, where did she come from? Who is this, right? And then as I built those connections and built those friendships, people started taking me seriously. And one of the biggest things I find is that once you make those connections, ask questions. That's what I did. The manager at the radio station didn't know me for left, right, and center. When I was at York U, I used to volunteer when Vibe was CHRY. Nobody knows me. Nobody remembers me. I ain't got no certificate to show for it, but I did volunteer. But because I was a different person then, so literally I made these connections and it was so cool to build off of that. And then they started telling other people about me. And so that changed the perspective, that changed the narrative of who MC Nads is. Who is this Nadia Chandra? Who is this MC Nads? And that started changing a narrative and making it better for me. Obviously, you still deal with people who have ego trips. I'm going to be real. Like, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. And that goes for, I'm noticing male and female. There's a lot of people who see people coming up on what they're doing and they get threatened. And I'm like, I understand. Because you're like, shit, somebody's coming up and doing what I'm doing. But I think people need to take that as a compliment. I learned that from a podcast I was listening to, I think it was last year or the year before. His name is Jester the DJ. He's been on like Flow and, G98.7 and Vibe. And he was on a podcast and he said the most flattering thing is when somebody can take what you do, craft it, and just keep going and build from that. That's a compliment, right? Yeah. And I don't think a lot of people see that. So there's been egos. There's been a lot of egos. But I just know to move differently. And sometimes those same egos come back to you and say, yo, I want to work with you. I'm like, oh, now you see me. Okay.
Now you like me. Now you want something from me. Now you like me.
Right?
Yeah, I feel you about the whole ego trip thing. You see it in like a lot of different industries. Back when I was working at that law firm, a lot of lawyers were men. Like it was easily 80-95% men. I'm not saying they weren't accommodating of other female legal professionals, but you could tell like they had their cliques of just guys, and then some legal professionals, female ones, had their clique of just the women because it's like women helping themselves because there's no one else to help them type thing.
And I get that. I can't fault women for that because I see it. Like, it's hard. We tried to do like female parties. I remember one guy in the industry, I'll never forget this, a couple years ago, did a female party and he got so much flack. And I was like, I said to him, I go, B, yo, really? And he's like, yeah, a lot of people were just giving him all kinds of shit, didn't support the party. The party essentially financially flopped, but I get it because sometimes as women, unfortunately, just the way the gender biases are, we have to fight a little harder and it's shitty. But I think slowly it's changing in the entertainment scene. Like there's so many beautiful and talented female DJs out there, MCs doing their thing, just in different things, business women, food, culture. I've met so many beautiful women on social media. That's just shown me that there's a whole nother side to all of this. Can we pick up one more person?
Yeah, go ahead.
I need to big up Real D Life. He's out in the States. He's also a manager for a big soca artist named Allison Hines. I met him when I did I emceed a gig where Allison Hines was performing Baby Sham, reggae artist. And ever since then, I've stayed connected with him. So I got to big him up because he's doing some big things in the States.
Shout out my guy. We got another question from my guy, Sir Chris the Seventh. Okay, a quick shout out to Chris. This guy's been in every set. This guy's always asking questions. I know who this person is at all, but I'm loving the engagement I'm seeing from this guy all weekend.
Big up yourself. Big up yourself.
Shout out Chris. Have you had the chance to work with any of your idols, and what did you learn from them?
Ooh, I mean, musically, I've met some amazing like reggae and soca artists. For me, the biggest one that really, the biggest one that really excited me was Taurus Riley. I ended up one day, actually, a real deal has something to do with that. There was this charity event that was going down, and I really wanted to go, and I had no tickets, and Real D had a ticket. And he's like, nah, do you want to go? I'll make sure the ticket's at the door for you. So he hooked me up, and I went. I ended up seeing some of my Vibe 105 family. And one of the artists that I really wanted to see was a reggae artist named Taurus Riley. I love him. He's just such a dread with such this positive vibe. And this was one of those times where I was like, I wish the camera was working, but it didn't, and it was okay. So at the end of the show, I had the VIP pass, and I was able to go backstage. So I went with my Vibe 105 family, and everybody's crowding around Taurus Riley. And I said to my homeboy, I was like, yo, I gotta talk to this guy. This is like one of the guys I really enjoy listening to. I love his lyrics, his positive vibes. So I ended up pushing through. I gave somebody my phone to record, but they didn't know how to press record, so they only took pictures. And I ended up like doing a 5-minute interview with him, asking him a couple questions, and every answer was just so chill. He was the calmest person to talk to. His energy coming from him was just so positive. We talked about like an album he had coming out at that time, and I was just like, oh, I wish it's one of those moments where I was like, damn, I wish we recorded it, but the other part of me was like, you know what? That was one of those things that just didn't need to be recorded. It just didn't.
This is genuine. It just had to sit there. Yeah.
It just had to sit there, and I really enjoyed that. I've met a handful of artists. I wish there was more I could meet, but that one really always stuck with me, just because he's just as genuine as he is as an artist. And it's cool to see when an artist translates to be the same person they are in real life, because when they're not, it's so disappointing.
It is very disappointing. I see a lot of people, I'm not gonna name any celebrities obviously, but I've seen a lot of people like meet their movie star celebrity or whatever, and like, talk to them in real life, or just say a few words, and like, oh no, yeah, that guy was so rude to me. Like I hate you, forever changed in my eyes. It's like, dang, right? Your hero is ruined. Yeah,
100%. That's like R. Kelly ruined my life. Like I love his music, but I can't anymore.
We're going to keep the R. Kelly conversations on the low for Locals Fest. But I get you.
Yeah.
We have another question here from Logan B. When things become overwhelming, how do you overcome that stress? I feel like this is a very good question, especially everyone's dealing with so much pandemic. Life is just hitting everyone at such a crazy rate. This is a very good question.
I learned that the hard way in 2017. I had a major panic attack and anxiety attack that I didn't know I developed. And I don't think I've ever shared that. This is probably the first time I've ever actually been able to talk about it publicly. And I actually collapsed from it and realized that I needed to take some me time. It's really important to take you time. So you can hustle Monday to Friday, Monday to Saturday, but legit, you really have to like take a pause for the cause. So I always use Sundays as a chill day, as a downtime day. When I'm feeling stressed or over anxious, there were some things after I had, I literally, long story short, I went for an appointment to follow up on the panic and anxiety attacks I was having. And I was in the hospital in the main cafeteria, there for an appointment, and I started feeling really woozy. Must have went up to the Tim Hortons counter and sat down, and I collapsed. Don't remember what happened.
Dang.
Blacked out. They said that I probably had an anxiety attack where it just blacks you out. And so that scared the shit out of me. I don't even think I ever really told my family what happened, because I've never been the one to collapse. I'm the one taking everybody out and,
taking care of people. Yeah.
Right. And I forgot to take care of myself. So I ended up doing classes and courses at the hospital and met some really interesting people that were going through some major stuff. And it taught me, coping mechanisms, which are all available online. I have to big up DJ starting from scratch, because he's one person that's exposed his own vulnerability with performance anxiety. And so when I saw him talking about it, I was like, man, I don't feel so alone anymore. And I realized how important it is to share those experiences with people. And I never really shared it. I didn't even think I'd be sharing it today, but it's kind of liberating now because I've been able to cope with it and deal with it. So when I'm feeling over anxious and anxiety, because anxiety has a way of propelling your thoughts, like it's like a rocket ship. Yeah. And so you have to bring yourself back. So I always learn the techniques. For me, the things that work is like just bringing myself back to reality and saying, okay, I'm here. I'm sitting on this couch. I see this phone. I see that door. This color is white. Like just to bring myself back. And so to this day, I still deal with the anxiety. I don't think my friends truly understand sometimes what goes on with me because I don't share it, because they're all in their lives and I love them because they're always so supportive. But I know at the end of the day, I've got to learn how to deal with it. And I still deal with it to this day. So managing stress is really important. Taking the time out to say, okay, you know what? I can't deal with this right now. I need like a 10 minutes to just recollect. Take deep breaths, really calm your energy down. I read a lot of books. I read a ton of books. If I could show you in this den over here right now, there's like a huge bookshelf. And a lot of those books are every and anything, but there are a lot of self-help books and stuff that I've been reading. I had bought the Jay Shetty book that he just put out. He's really cool, former monk. And he just has some really cool coping techniques that are just dope. So stress, you've got to, when your body talks to you, listen, or your body's going to shut down and tell you, yo, I'm not here for this today. And your body will tell you. And that was scary shit. That shit was scary.
Yeah, I feel like so many people don't really pay attention to their mental health. Hustling is good. Working towards a goal you really want to accomplish is good. But you gotta take the time. You gotta sit down and just recollect yourself and recharge. Because the more you hustle and the less time you take to recover, the worse it's going to get in the long run. Yep. You're just going to perform worse, whatever you're doing. It's bad. Thank you, by the way, for opening up about that, by the way. And obviously, I know it can be tough opening up about that kind of stuff. So I really appreciate you, coming out and talking about that.
I didn't realize how important it was, but I think it's important for people to know that they're not alone, right? Like people think, oh, they watch MC Nads and you're high vibing. And somebody said to me the other day, they're like, you're really much an extrovert, but you're also very much an introvert. And I think as I've gotten older, there's some days where I'm like, I don't want to talk to anybody, but I've always got to be on. And people forget that for those who are always on, it's hard.
It's very hard.
It's hard. It's hard to be on all the time. Like I get exhausted, but then I realize, you know what? I know this is what I love to do. And I just need to find the balance. And every day you always got to keep working through it. Right. So.
I see in some industries like entertainment, obviously you see people that are always on, they always have that energy. And it's like, man, I see that and I think of myself doing that. And I'm like, I don't know if I can do it, man. Like I can be on, but I can't be on as long hours straight, man. Like it's going to start killing me physically.
It's hard, especially
mentally.
Especially when you when I get hired for weddings and stuff and I'm having a rough day, like somebody passed or, this person's sick or my parents are going through shit. And it's like, you still got to show up and give that 200%. You have to, and it's just balance, right? It's important.
I agree. Thank you for asking that question earlier and thank you for answering it. So we have another question here from Tash. Who is one person you really want to interview and why?
Oh, Tash. Big up, Tash. Man, there's so many. I hate you for asking this question. Right now, who I really would like to interview is Chronix. Reggae artist Chronix. I really would like to ask him he's just a really chill dude. And his music is just insanely inspiring as a reggae artist. Chronix for sure is at the top of my list. I know I'm forgetting, there's some other people I would love to, there's some R&B people I would love to interview Boyz II Men. I'm very much a 90s girl.
Oh my gosh, yes.
I would love to interview
that from my sister and girlfriend, Boyz II Men.
Boyz II Men is the ish. And I've been following their Instagram, so they've been doing a lot of online stuff, and I would love to interview them. I'm such a 90s head. There's too many. Tasha, I hate you for asking this. Go donate to the Mississauga Food Bank. Don't ask me questions.
Speaking of this food bank, Once again, guys, we're raising money for the Mississauga Food Bank. Visit the link in our bio. Donate whatever you can. You'll be taken to the Mississauga Food Bank website. Link in the bio. Locals Festival. $1, one entry for the giveaway. More information about that and giveaway post. If you can't donate, it's all good. Please donate if you can, but if you can't, that's all good. You still want to get into the giveaway. Like the post, tag someone in the post, share the post. Every one of those interactions gets you an entry into the giveaway. It's free stuff. Like, come on. Like, why would you pass that up, you know?
Right.
So enter Local Festival Instagram page and yeah, donate if you can. Once again, please.
Donate to the cause.
So we're at the 10-minute mark here, guys. Please, if you got questions, throw them in, because Instagram's working against us right now. The clock is against us. So throw your comments in, throw your questions in if you can. I got one more question on my side. So you said you mentioned you do other work other than broadcasting. You want to talk more about like what are your other endeavors?
Oh yeah. So right now I'm a digital host, I'm going to say, on a Instagram platform called @PlanetSoca1. We're doing an online series called The Zone, where I interview, right now it's a soca platform. So it's primarily soca artists or anybody in the soca entertainment industry. We're on season 2. I just did an interview yesterday with a very big soca artist named Ricardo Drew, and then I post those interviews on the soca @PlanetSoca1 Instagram, IGTV, and also on my YouTube page, which is MC Nads, like everything else. And then I host weddings. So like I always say, for weddings, I don't just show up and grab a mic and expect to speak. I take it a few steps further, where I meet with bride and grooms, or people just on the cusp of getting married, whether it's an engagement, and I really get to know them, and we talk about their wedding. If they have a wedding planner, I work with their wedding planner or their coordinator, and we just put together an itinerary. I come there, I show up, and I show out. So I deliver. Okay, I show up and I show up, right? Because you're standing up there and you've got to make the night go. So not only am I speaking on a mic, but I slightly got to make jokes. I'm not like the overly funny person, but I can deliver. And so, and I'll do games and I'll entertain. So that's something else that I do. And then I love hosting like music festivals. I do live to airs for Vibe when we were obviously going out to locations. I love doing music festivals. Like, I mean, next year, if there's more music festivals to do and anybody's looking for a host,
fingers crossed, music festivals, please.
I would love to. I miss doing that. That's something I love doing as well. Baby showers, bridal showers, you name it, birthday parties, I'm there for it. I'm also involved with my best friend in a local business that we do called @T's Gift Shop. Anybody looking for like gifts, baskets, kids stuff, anything, we do that too.
Awesome. Look at she does it all, people. She does it all. So hire her. She's looking for work. We're all looking for work. Times are tough.
We're all looking. Times.
But I'm gonna keep it moving. So to go back, you talked about your personality a little bit. Logan asks, where do you think you developed your enthusiastic and outgoing personality? I've heard some other people from Scarborough with similar personalities, so I feel like the region has a little bit to do with that, but I'm gonna let you answer that.
Well, see, I'm from Toronto, but not Scarborough. So I grew up in like Lawrence and Black Creek and Keelan Lawrence. I went to school in the hood, Jane and Falstaff. Like, I've just always been this way. I think it's my crazy family. I love my family. We're nuts. Like, when we laugh, we're loud. When we argue, we're freaking loud. When we disagree, we're loud. When we love each other, we're freaking loud. That's just who we are. Guyanese people are all loud. Anybody, look, I'm talking to you right now like as if you're long distance. I'm loud. I really don't know. Like, I've always been this way. Like, when I'm having bad days, man, I'm having bad days. But I think it's just been over time, experience, life, and the shit I have been through. I've just like, I can't let the darkness get me. I can't. There's too much life to live for, and there's too much path to make. And I've just focused on that. And I try to uplift my friends, and I'm just about this energy. I think as I've really come into my late 30s now, I've just really come into my own, and I just try to keep them positive vibes. Like, some days just shit, I ain't gonna lie, but there's other days, and you're going to, right? And I think it's just a matter of keeping positive vibes. I've always been like this. I'm nuts. Even when I was in high school, I was the one all over the place, running around, making mixtapes, just doing all kinds of shit. That's just always who I've been. A little ball of energy. Thank you for the question, though.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for answering it too. I think we can squeeze in one or two more questions. We have another one from your girl Tash. She wants to know, will you resume your podcast that you have on Spotify or your McNads blog? She really enjoyed the realness and vulnerability in your podcasts.
Yeah, I forgot. I do have that. I usually post a podcast
forgot.
I did forget because I haven't been able to put my energy to it. Like, I just use the podcast as a way to vent. At first, I was blogging a lot. Before I started MC Nads, I had a website, which is probably still up, called Real Talks, with the same 3 Zs. And when I was going through some really dark shit before, relationship stuff, I had written all that energy in that. And I've gone back recently to read some of it, and it's been heavy. And then I started translating some of what was going on in my life in this podcast. So I use Anchor as a platform, but you can get it on Spotify, Apple, any way you use a podcast player, you can get it. So will I? When I get some time, Tash. When I get to, I haven't even been able to see my friend Tash. So I really would like to. I know with podcasts, people like to be more engaged when you have a guest or something, but then I realize, again, I'm blocking myself. Like, I just use it as a 5 minutes event about a topic, and I think I should get back to it. She's right. And I think people would appreciate the realness, whether they do or not. Sometimes they do. Sometimes I vent loud on there about some shit. But I hope to get back to it. Something to do in the new year. Cross fingers, because life has been very busy.
Yeah, man, it's insane. Like, the past year, like, I think a lot of people's perspectives and like on life and, you know, living it to the most and like seeing what happens when quote unquote shit hits the fan, you know, how serious everything again. You gotta take life seriously. You gotta really take it seriously.
You really do. And I like, if I'm a one woman show, I think people think I have some kind of like, you see this? It's just me, you know. I don't have like people behind me. Like I have my best friend, and I have my handful of friends that are really like Tasha, Tina, Fiona. Like, I have those guys, my friend Nad, but I don't have a team of people. So for me to like do all this stuff, I'm trying, right? Because I still work Monday to Friday. I still have a job. I gotta work. I gotta pay my mortgage. Yeah. But you know, I really want to get to more content creation. Here's what I wish. I wish I could keep my job, but don't do the work, get the paycheck, and then put all that energy to my MC Nad stuff. I mean, one day, ideally, I would like to end up on TV, I think. I've tried a couple auditions stuff. Like, I've tried to put stuff through, but it doesn't kind of catch yet. I don't know if maybe I'm just more of a, what does my boss say? You have a face for radio.
Oh, what? Oh, yeah. Right? I don't know if I like that comment.
Right? So I laughed. I'm like, hey, you never know. I don't know. I mean, I've always dreamed of working on CP24. That's always been a dream of mine. But I hate heavy news. That's the thing. I like to be the fun person.
I was gonna say there's so this is another person out of Rex on eTalk. I was saying
do you
would
know
you ever like try to?
He used to go to my middle school. He would never remember me, but he went to my middle school. He went to Amesbury Middle School.
Dang, yo.
He did.
I'm talking about small worlds. Hopefully you guys can reunite on eTalk.
He would never remember me. He wouldn't know me. He was one of the cool kids. I was just like this little brown girl doing her thing with my long hair.
You remember me? I sat across from you in Miss Phillips' grade 6 class. Remember me?
But yeah, I would love to. Like, eTalk would be cool. I just have to find a way to get there and keep applying. So I apply for stuff when it comes up. My boss always tells me, you're going to quit your job. I'm like, maybe the pension's good. We'll see.
Hey, you know, so you gotta speak that stuff into existence.
Yes.
I've heard that a lot lately, and I truly believe it. Speak into existence, and hey, it might happen, you know?
Hey, make a vision board. I made a vision board for 2020 at the beginning of the year, and even though the pandemic hit, everything that's on my vision board happened. I'm not gonna lie.
Really?
Everything I put on my vision board happened. Even if it might not have been the way I imagined it, it happened. I put something about YouTube, it happened. I put something about getting a first home, it happened. It all happened. And so, you know, I really strongly believe in vision boards. I don't know why I never did it before. I'm going to be doing a new one, revamped every year, you know, reassess what you're doing with your life.
We're coming up to the hour mark right now. I only got like 30 seconds. So thank you, MC Nads. Thank you, Nadia. Thank you, everyone that could come in. Thank you, all the donators. Thank you so much, Locals Festival, for letting me host this. This is my last 7 nights. So thank you. I really appreciate it. Hopefully you guys can donate to the giveaway. Follow me, follow Locals Festival, follow me if you want, follow Locals Festival, follow MC Nads, and yeah, really appreciate it. Thank you so much, and I will talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye bye.